What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So a few days ago, it was announced that the Los Angeles Lakers were signing / re-signing former point guard Dennis Schroeder, who hadn't had a roster yet this offseason. He hadn't really had a lot of offers, but he was killing it in the EuroLeague tournament. He was having a good offseason, and the Lakers re-signed him because obviously they need all the help they can get possible. And this raised a lot of questions because you've already got Patrick Beverley, you've already got Russell Westbrook, and it's already ironic in one hand because we know a few years ago the Lakers were ready to sign Dennis Schroeder to a massive bag. He went into the free agency market thinking he had a little bit more value than he actually did. Ended up not getting a single contract offer really much worth anything, and he signed a minimum, and now this contract is basically a minimum. It's not exactly, but it's just a little bit higher, and considering he could likely be the starting point guard, having him on a minimum deal is a very good steal. But at the end of the day, this signing has caused a lot of controversy as far as the other two point guards on the roster. Now, most people pretty much consider Patrick Beverley to be completely safe considering they just traded for him. And why would you trade for somebody if you don't intend on playing him at all on this roster? They've got DJ Augustine, who is a solid, if not good, below average point guard. So at the end of the day, the main question that remains is the same one we've been asking this entire offseason. What are they going to do with Russell Westbrook? Now, we've seen them try to trade him around, and I hate the argument that he has absolutely no value as far as going to another market because a team like Charlotte with Gordon Hayward or the Pacers with Miles Turner and, Buddy Hield have a lot of reasons to get Russell Westbrook as a trade rather than, letting these guys finish their contracts out because they're going to be bad. They're going to be rebuilding. Westbrook will get you butts in the seats. He will get you some more money as far as, games go. And, he's just going to be a good player on your team, but he's not going to win you a lot of games. He's not going to take you to the playoffs. And you get his big contract for one season, and then it's off the books. $44 million right now, yes, it is a lot of money. I will give everybody that. But trading for Russell Westbrook is one of the better moves some of these rebuilding teams could do. You have an opportunity to likely get at least one first-round pick in the future, and LeBron's aging. AD's always injured, so there's a chance he's injured and has to retire earlier. He's gone out of LA by the time LeBron's gone, but you get future Laker draft picks. Who knows how bad they could be once this core team kind of ends up, leaving or retiring or however it ends up ending in LA. Those draft picks could be very valuable. So you get draft picks that have the potential to be top 3 draft picks in the future. And you also have the ability to get off of very big long-term contracts. Gordon Hayward has 2 years left. So this year for Charlotte and next year. That is a lot of money on the line. You get Russell Westbrook back in. You get a guy that's gone this year. You don't have to worry about him in the offseason. If you want to re-sign him to a small deal, sure. But you don't have to worry about him taking up that much contract space going into the offseason, trying to go after free agents because you're already a small market and you're not attracting a lot of people like Indiana and Charlotte. You need as much money as possible to throw at even the lower value guys because that's how you have to do in a small market. You've got to overpay to get at least a little bit above average players to come to your team. We did the same thing, in my opinion, with guys like Greg Monroe. We had to overpay to get guys like that to Milwaukee, and that's just how small markets work. And trading for Russell Westbrook would be a very good idea for both of those rosters. And that's kind of my argument because a lot of people try and seem to think that Westbrook has no value on the open market. Oh, the Lakers really wanted Kyrie Irving. The Nets weren't budging because they weren't interested. Sure, of course they weren't interested. Irving is much better than Westbrook is at this point in his career. But you're acting like there's no value out there on the market anywhere for Russell Westbrook. I mean, heck, we're talking about a guy that is one of the most popular NBA players. I'm not saying the best, but he is one of the well-known names in the NBA right now. He's a 9-time All-Star, 2-time scoring champ, 2-time All-Star MVP. He won the MVP in 2016, 3 times assist champ, 75th anniversary team, 9-time All-NBA player, and an All-Rookie in 2008. Russell Westbrook has talent. He has value on the market, and that is just the side of me that talks about the trading. Now I want to address my real issue with this and the idea of having Russell Westbrook come off the bench because I absolutely despise the narrative that Russell Westbrook is a bad NBA player. This guy is a multiple-time All-Star, All-NBA appearances. He won an MVP, averaging a triple-double, and almost that season single-handedly carried his team to the playoffs, and he has one bad season, and by bad, I'm not even talking bad. 18.5 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists on 44% shooting, and about 29% from the three, but his career average is only 30% from the three. He did shoot really bad from the free throw line, 66% this year, or last year, as opposed to 78% career free throw shooting, so that could get a lot better. But at the end of the day, this team was built to be a super team, and their big three played probably 12 games together all season. I mean, you expect them to be really good when Anthony Davis isn't on the floor at all. You expect them to be really good when LeBron's struggling with injuries, and he played amazing last year, but Westbrook struggled with injuries. You know, he only missed a few games, though. But Anthony Davis is arguably their second best player, and arguably a MVP contender when completely healthy. He was never on the floor last year. Of course this team was bad. If you take Chris Middleton off of that Bucks roster, we're not going to be as good as we were. Put Chris Middleton back in the Eastern Conference semifinals, maybe we beat that Celtics team. You saw just how poor our offense became when we lost our main ball handler, our main shot creator. That Chris Middleton can hit from anywhere on the floor, and you saw how stagnant we got if you watched that Boston Celtics series once he had went down after Chicago. So, I mean, yes, of course the Lakers were going to be bad, and the idea that Westbrook will come off the bench making $44 million a year is just absolutely outrageous. I mean, this guy has averaged almost 30 points. He averaged 32 one year and 28 another year. I mean, come on. Like, how would you sit that guy on the bench if he's capable of putting up numbers like that? Obviously, he's not as good as he used to be. Obviously, he's not as athletic as he used to be. And no, he's never been a great or even a average three-point shooter. He's always been below average. He's never averaged more than 35% from three. I mean, that's just not something he's going to be, and that's not something you can expect him to be, and I think that's the reason they struggled last year, because him and Anthony Davis want to shoot threes. They try their best to improve at the three-point shot, and it's just not the way their games need to go. Westbrook is a ball hog, or a ball-dominant, drive-in-your-face, slashing point guard, and he needs to play that way. Whether LeBron is going to try and force him to be a sharpshooter is what it really comes down to, but the idea that you would take him making $44 million and you would start Dennis Schroeder, or you would start DJ Augustine or Patrick Beverly over Russell Westbrook, I just can't agree with that. And I'm not a Lakers fan at all, but I really am excited to see what they can do if LeBron, Westbrook, and Anthony Davis are healthy, because I think that core is good enough to make a deep playoff run. I don't know if they're quite good enough to make a finals run, because yes, there are still meshing problems. Westbrook is not a spacer. Anthony Davis is not the best shooting center or power forward in the NBA. And with LeBron, a guy who, yes, he's got better with his shooting over the years, is not as dominant as he used to be, but is still more focused inside the three-point line. You know, you want guys that can shoot around him. So yes, maybe they would never be able to make the finals with this roster just because of how the relationship between the players and their archetypes works, but you've brought in good pieces. You've got Carmelo back, apparently. That's what this website says. I don't know if he's officially signed, but according to ESPN, Carmelo is back. You've got DJ Augustine, Kent Bazemore. Patrick Beverly is an amazing pickup if he's coming off the bench. You can't start him over Russell Westbrook and expect Russ to be happy. Avery Bradley has gone downhill very quickly over the last few years, but he is still a solid 3-and-D option. Troy Brown Jr. is a guy that I've been pretty high on across his career. We haven't seen a ton from him, but he's still a solid role player. You've got Thomas Bryant bringing him in as the starting center most likely for this team. Dwight Howard, Jay Huff, Damian Jones, Kendrick Nunn, who didn't get to play a single game for the Lakers last season. They've got pieces. Lonnie Walker, the fifth came in. Lonnie Walker, the fourth, whatever he is, I can't remember, came in this offseason. And then obviously now you bring in Dennis Schroeder, who's having a magnificent offseason in Europe. I think this Lakers team has all the potential in the world, and I'm not a Lakers fan, so you know it's surprising when I say something like that. And obviously being in a big market like LA, they're going to have all the pressure in the world. They're going to be forced to try and be as good as possible with a roster that is not the best in the NBA. But I think healthy, this roster is really good, and they're even better if Westbrook is coming in the starting lineup. So at the end of the day, in my opinion, if they're going to bench Russell Westbrook, please just trade him. I'm a big Russell Westbrook guy. I always have been. Just trade him away. No need to force this guy at 33 years old. He's still got only a few years left in his prime. Trade him away. Don't let him come off the bench. That would just be a big mistake, and I'd rather see him play and ball out for a rebuilding team than watch Russell Westbrook be forced off the bench. And I know, in my opinion, Westbrook probably would not be happy to come off the bench either. So I probably am saying exactly what he would likely say to the Lakers organization if they tried to tell him to come off the bench. Just not a good idea in general. Hopefully he can bounce back this season. I'm really excited to see what Westbrook can do. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are about this Lakers situation. I know it's been a conversation the entire offseason, but with Dennis Schroeder coming in, it got a little bit more interesting, especially, already having Patrick Beverley and Westbrook. But they got a really good deal for Schroeder, so I can't blame them for jumping on that opportunity. If you enjoy my content, please hit the like button and subscribe. As always, thank you guys for watching. Turn on post notifications so you never miss any of my videos. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.